You can call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Nikita Krylov takes on Dominick Reyes this Saturday as the feature fight of UFC 314 from Miami, Florida. And this is a really fun fight at 205 pounds. Both of these guys are very talented, very skilled, and both have a lot of UFC experience. Been in the UFC for several years now. Nikita Krylov made his UFC debut back in 2013. Dominick Reyes made his debut in 2017. So tons of combined experience between these two guys. Nikita Krylov, he's 32 years old, 6'3", with a 77-inch reach. He's 30-9 in his career and coming in off of a 3-fight winning streak. Has been out of the octagon for a little over 2 years now. So curious to see if he's got any ring rust in his return against an absolute killer in Dominick Reyes. Krylov, he's a Kyokushin karate black belt. Very good wrestling and submission ability. Always looking to kind of get the fight to the ground, out-grapple his opponents, look for submissions. Great cardio. Can be hurt on the feet. We've seen him get hurt in his last few fights against Ryan Spann and Volkan Ozdemir. Was able to get those fights done with his grappling, though. So we'll push forward, throw strikes, mix in his striking. Great kicks. Decent power. We saw that against Gustafsson. I don't know if he's going to have enough to hurt Dominick Reyes with it, but puts on a pace on guys. And puts a lot of offense out there. He's kind of one of those guys where the best defense is a lot of offense. Dominick Reyes, a little bit older, 35 years old, getting up there. Taking a lot of time off in his career as of late since his title fight with John Jones. He's 6'4" with a 77-inch reach, so these guys are going to be almost identical in height and reach. And he's 14-4 on a 2-fight winning streak, so he's looked really good since his return. Getting finishes over Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby, a very high-level K1 kickboxer, was able to finish him in the first round, making his return. Dominick Reyes, he had his shot against John Jones, where I think he won that fight 3-2. I think he was absolutely robbed. One of the biggest robberies in UFC history, in my opinion. Came back, lost to Jan Blachowicz, lost to Yair Prochazka. Like these aren't bad losses. Those guys are very high level, former champs in their own right. But then he loses to Ryan Spann by jab in the first round. So not a very good look in retrospect, considering how awful Ryan Spann has looked as of late. But since then, he took a little bit of time off and made his return last June, sparking Dustin Jacoby in the first round and then beating the brakes off of Anthony Smith last December. So taking a few months off, but he is going to be the fresher fighter with more momentum coming into this one. And like I previously mentioned, Nikita Krylov on a 3-fight winning streak, but hasn't fought since beating Ryan Spann himself in a very competitive fight before it ended back in March of 2023. I got to go with Dominick Reyes in this one. He's a very good striker, really good kicks, has a really good left kick as a southpaw, left hand, fast hands, fast combos, tons of power, can put you away on the front foot or on the back foot. High level athlete. He was like a defensive back, I think, in college, which is just crazy considering the size of him and being 6'4". And he has really good takedown defense. So I think he can keep it on the feet and outstrike Krylov in this one. Krylov likes to push forward. He can be a little bit sloppy and lazy with his chin up in the air at times. And I think Reyes can catch him there and punish him for pushing forward the way that he does. I think he's fought the better competition as of late. He's fought a lot of champs, former champs, even Chris Weidman. John Jones, Blachowicz, Prochazka, Dustin Jacoby, Anthony Smith, like these are all very good names that he's fought, and not all of them have gone their way, but Nikita Krylov, his last 3 wins are Ryan Spann, Volkan Ozdemir, and Alexander Gustafsson. Lost to Paul Craig before that. Had a competitive fight with Ankalaev, I'll give him that, but beating Johnny Walker, Owen St. Preux, Fabio Maldonado, like these aren't very high-level guys, and again, he hasn't been the most active guy in the last 5 or 6 years, so Krylov can be hit. We've seen him get hit and hurt in his last 2 fights against Ryan Spann and Volkan Ozdemir. And I think if those guys are catching him, I think Reyes can too. I think Reyes is I think he's a better all-around fighter than those guys and definitely has the better hands, a little bit more accurate than those guys. And I think that he can be landing the better punches than Nikita Krylov. Krylov just looked kind of sloppy in his last few fights against Ryan Spann, giving up position on the ground. They were kind of rolling around, both exchanging positions before Ryan Spann just jumped into a triangle choke and got finished. And in his fight with Volkan Ozdemir, he was getting hurt in that first round before getting his takedowns. And I feel like Reyes just has much better takedown defense than Volkan Ozdemir and much better cardio. It seemed like midway through the second round, or even at the beginning of the second round, he was starting to gas and just wasn't able to kind of keep up with with Nikita Krylov and defend the takedown. So I think Reyes gets it done. I think he can keep it standing. I think he can hurt Nikita Krylov as he's pushing in, and I think he'll be able to get enough respect on the feet to get him to stop pushing in so aggressively, looking for the takedowns. I think he can get him out of there. I have seen Krylov get hurt. He has been chinned in the past. He was knocked out by, who was he knocked out by? Soa Palele back in the day. So I'm gonna go Dominick Reyes to get this one done. I think he can get the KO inside the distance, but if not, I think he'll do enough damage, defend enough takedowns. Maybe he loses a round or so, just getting kind of positionally controlled by Nikita Krylov. But he's very athletic, and we've seen him able to defend takedowns in the past and kind of scramble up to his feet. He did fight John Jones and didn't give up a lot of takedowns in that fight. Surprisingly, he does give up takedowns in his career, but usually he's still able to land the better strikes, do more damage, and get the wins regardless. I'm looking through his stats now, and he gives up takedowns to Owen St. Preux, Volkan Ozdemir, Chris Weidman. Like, he gave up takedowns on all of those fights, but still ended up winning and or getting the finish. So I'm gonna go Dominick Reyes to get this one done by KO. If not KO, definitely a decision. Thanks.